of Southland. Chris West was the championship leader coming into this round. He'd been gifted a win in round 1, Rally Otago, when Todd Borden's more powerful Group A car had cried enough.
The approach for us, I think, this weekend is obviously to maintain our lead. If we can come out of this rally still leading the championship, that's obviously our main objective. But we don't have to come first this weekend, and like, we certainly won't be out there to with that in number one mind. But just to finish and obviously build on those points that we were fortunate enough to get at Otago.
Andrew Hawkswood and his more powerful Group A Lancer had to settle for second place in round 1 after he punctured and lost the lead to West.
Andrew, you're in a strong position for the championship. What's the approach for this rally?
Well, we're just going to go out and do the first couple of stages and just see where we're sitting. The road conditions are going to be really tricky. We would be stupid to do something, foolish in the first few stages and throw it all away. All we've got to do is have a good, strong finish at this one, and I think we'll be all right for the rest of the year. Tyre
choice is going to be critical?
Oh, definitely. I mean, we haven't got the ideal tyre that we really wanted for this weekend, but, we'll just do the best with what we've got, and, it's certainly going to make I think the rally will be won or lost on tyre choices.
Todd Borden got a DNF in Otago after his transmission failed while he was in front.
And as far as the others are concerned, they've got a bit of a jump on the points situation. You feeling any pressure from that?
Not really, because at the end of the day, I think there's only, there's a half a dozen of us can win, and the 3 of us didn't finish in Dunedin, so there's 5 more rounds, like I said, to go. And hey, we'll see what happens after Rotorua and after Hawke's Bay. There's a long way to go.
During the week, Todd Borden is a roading contractor, spreading gravel around North Harbour. But on the weekend, he changes into a top rally driver, ripping it up. But giving a rally car a quick flick is harder than it looks.
The guys, they watch rallying, they think it's an easy task just to hop in the car there about going fast, and all these young guys coming through think, oh, look, we want the speed, we want the horsepower, and it's not about that, it's about having a team behind you.
So this year, the defending Southland Rally champion has made changes, getting retired rally driver Rhys Jones to prepare and run the team.
It's a support package, maybe a bit of mental stuff in there. We've sort of been there and done that a little bit. Hopefully we can add something to that, and the expertise of my crew may help the reliability of the car. So I think Todd's in with a really big show this year.
And after doing this with Stumpy Holmes and Rally New Zealand, co-driver Damon McLaughlin is looking forward to a few changes too, like staying on the road. Not that the big roll has changed his attitude.
It didn't put me off at all. One thing that made me realise is how good those roll cages are and what sort of protection you got out there. It's, I'll say, you got back out there and no worries.
And developing a working relationship with the guy beside you is absolutely vital.
I trust him. He knows when I get shitty. He knows how to calm me down. He knows my whole pattern. If I don't eat, I get really grumpy, and he just knows that. He's been around me for a long time. The guy knows me well, and I know him very well.
We're pretty good in the car together. We're pretty good mates now anyway. Well, we always have been, but no, we're fine in the car now. Nothing really goes on too badly. He has the occasional moment. You give him food, it's the key. Keep him fed.
Borden also works hard at his fitness. The former marathon runner now combines boxing with gym work and even uses some old advice he gave a friend about running marathons to help him with his rallies.
You have to have someone support you after the second half of the marathon. He's like, what do you mean? I said, because you hit that wall. And that's what it's about. It's not about just going fast. It's about being consistent and being there at the end. Same principle.
And finally, if sledging goes on in other sports, what about the mind games in motorsport?
It happens. Like I got a few texts the other day and a few phone calls. Oh, Borden, there's a Group N car in front of you. You better watch out. The Group N car up behind you. You're going to get beaten. Just the mind games do happen, but end of the day, you just got to get out there and have a clear head and just let them all slip past. I'll be winding up Richard. Hey, we'll be honest. He's in a Subaru this year, and we'll be on his tail, and you better watch his rear vision mirror because we're going to be right there.
In fact, Mason was number 1 on the road, so tyre choice was critical.
It's a difficult decision to make at the best of times, but maybe deciding what happens down here could be the difference of a minute on a stage time. So, yeah, it's definitely critical.
And looking forward to a good result at the business end at the end of the rally.
Yeah, absolutely. We'll be hoping that things will come our way, and if we drive the right rally, we hopefully get on the podium again. That'd be really nice.
So just a one-day format for Southland in 2004, and using roads up to 3 times meant that this was now a very compact rally, starting at Invercargill and touring up to Otauto for the first 4 stages before heading across country to the more coastal forests around Tuatapere, and then the big finish back in Invercargill on Sunday night. But what no one expected was the inch of snow covering the sleepy town of Otauto on Sunday morning. And that, coupled with a hailstorm on stage 1, meant that most of the drivers went into the stage on totally the wrong tyres. All they could do was tweak their tyre pressures and hope and pray for the best. Richard Mason had thought that being number 1 on the road would be an advantage, but as the car sat on the start line, he and co-driver Hamish Fenimore must have been cursing their position and this foul weather. Not only that, it was pretty low light too. Now you can see the thick gravel lying on the road. Look how Mason's tyres are sweeping the gravel clear, slowing him down but clearing the road for the cars that follow. Mason was the lowly 13th after the first stage. Todd Borden came to this rally knowing that to win the championship he had to get back into the points and to do it here. The conditions may not be perfect, but his tyres were finding better grip than Mason. But it's not just loose gravel on the stage. That's snow and ice lying on the road. It takes just one small moment and disaster can lie in wait. Now listen to that. Borden's concentration lapses just momentarily as he settles down in the car. Maybe that was enough to lose sight of the road. But even a road builder would struggle to read the conditions on this morning. And Borden is pushing as hard as he dares through the early part of the stage.
Get out of here. Backwards.
See where we're going, Proposed Avenue?
Amazingly, the car rolls over without touching the roof before bouncing on the co-driver's door and landing on its wheels.
Get out of here.
But despite Borden's efforts, there was no escape to get back on the road. Their rally is over and a big road ahead to win the championship from here. In fact, all the top drivers were struggling on stage 1. Andrew Hawkswood could only manage 11th fastest time in the treacherous conditions, sliding off the road a couple of times in his team total Evo 6.5. And Chris West had a 10-second penalty before he even started, clocking in a minute late to the start because of a puncture on the way to the stage. Despite all his experience and the nimble production Subaru being the best equipped for these conditions, West is really struggling for traction. Now remember, the teams had to choose their tyres the previous night and no one predicted all that white stuff. He just can't get any grip and finally slides into a drain when the gear stick breaks just as it did on Rally Otago. Now the car gets going again, but West would finish the stage 1 minute and 30 seconds down, way back in 28th place. Running 5th on the road, Mark Tapper actually drives past West here. He fared the best of the top drivers, finishing the stage in 6th, just ahead of former champion Neil Allport. Allport was running a new Evo 8 production Mitsubishi. His Group A car too badly damaged in the Otago crash to repair in time. So who are the big movers on the first stage? Well, initially the timesheet showed 11th-seeded championship rookie Sam Murray as the rally leader. He had driven well to post a time of 15.10. But it was actually another rookie, 21st seed Brett Martin, who won the stage in his new Evo 8 Mitsubishi. Malcolm Stewart used all his 30-plus years experience in New Zealand rallying to be third, 4 seconds behind Murray. And Austin Jones took 5th spot in the Waiku Carspears Subaru. Deborah Kibble, 16th on the road, was well inside the top 10 on her first split time of the stage, despite a spin on the second corner, but she hit a tree near the end of the stage and faced an uphill battle to stay in the rally. Likewise, Emma Gilmore was also in the top 10 on this part of the stage, but just 4 kilometres down the road, it was all over, and an early shower for the young Dunedin driver. So the road was definitely getting better as the top car swept off the loose gravel, as you can see here from Dean Sumner's car, 15th on the road.
Small crest, flat, 80.
Now, normally cars 5 and 6 have the ideal conditions, but maybe the fact that all the drivers had to make their tyre choice on the previous night was having a bigger impact than the conditions themselves. Narrow 195 tyres would have been better, but on a clear Southland evening, most drivers had chosen a wider 205. Sumner finished the stage in 12th. After the shock of stage 1, the snowy conditions on stage 2 would have made the Swedish rally organisers smile. Andrew Hawkswood had a bit of fun, and he won the stage. Despite being 21 minutes late to the start to repair a car, Deborah Kibble also was right up there and amazingly equalled his time. Sam Murray and Brett Martin showed their stage 1 times with no fluke, but this time it was Murray who was fastest with a 12.33. He took the rally lead, while Martin was 6 seconds slower, but still second overall. Chris West had a huge task ahead to get back into contention, and just look what it's like to drive in these conditions with a broken gear lever. Westy was 5th fastest and moved up to 23rd overall. Austin Jones was running 10th on the road, making the most of the clearing conditions, moving from 5th to 3rd overall. Dylan Turner ranked 22nd but 7th fastest here. And Mike Turfus also benefited from better conditions, moving up to 7th equal with Tom Pritchard, both overtaking Mark Tapper, who'd punctured. You have to admire Neil Allport for making a return to the championship after 13 years away. Even after badly damaging his car in Otago, he must have wondered about this decision to run his brand new Evo 8 production car in these icy, wintry conditions. Todd Borden's crew had nothing to do in the picturesque service park, but the Mitsubishi New Zealand team had their work cut out to keep the Kibbles in the rally.
Deborah, looks like a few marks on the car. What happened?
Yeah, well, it was definitely all my fault. Jamie was just pointing out, reminding me that downhill and ice don't mix, and I had it in my head I was losing too much time and just went clean off the end and hit a tree.
How much time loss did you have in there?
Well, in the stage itself, probably not that much. Probably about 30 seconds maybe. It's hard to tell. You're just not thinking, I guess, at that point. But we got through the end of the stage, and then Jamie had to get all oily and bypass the oil cooler because we've damaged the oil cooler. Sorry, I have damaged the oil cooler.
No real worries for the rookie Sam Murray, though, at the front of the rally.
Sam, you started 11 on the road this morning. You're currently leading after 2 stages.
Yeah, I think definitely the first stage you had a bit of an advantage with the front cars breaking the ice, as it were, but the second one was a lot snowier, so the grip wasn't too bad. So I think there's about 7 or 8k of this next stage coming where the front cars are going to have to go through and do that again. So hopefully it'll continue a bit.
Next 2 stages you're doing tyre choice critical. Have you changed tyres on the car?
We're just we've gone to a narrower tyre again and put a cut in it. Just hopefully it'll be a bit softer and turned up, so they should work. They're not going to be any worse anyway.
And your rookie season doing the championship, in your second rally you're currently leading. It must be a pretty good feeling.
Yeah, it's a good feeling. Early days though, like it's a long way. I think certainly if this afternoon the snow and ice goes away, then the guys up the front are going to certainly speed up a bit. But it's a good place to be. Yeah.
Austin, looks like it's been a pretty good morning for you.
Yeah, obviously the conditions are played into our hands. It's extremely icy, snowy. We're just spending the whole time looking for gravel because that's where the grip is, and you get out. We had a spin in the second stage, lost 15 odd seconds, but the Silverstone Motorsport tyres are holding on really good, and we're pretty happy with them at the moment. We're going to cut some for a bit later on, and there's still, I see all the ice and the snow and all the tyres are coming out for the other teams, but our budget doesn't include that, so the Silverstones are going to keep us there, I hope.
Andrew Hawkswood was the best of the top favourites, moving up to 5th fastest after winning stage 2.
Being close to the front of the field, there's no wheel tracks, and it's just like back in the old days on the rugby field at Mark II Escort. You're just lock to lock, just all over the place. So no, it's pretty good fun, but it's not very fast, that's for sure.
You're about 20 seconds behind the leader. You can do something about it.
Yeah, hopefully. We're just going to a different tyre now, and the second run through the stage, the snow's going to be gone, so it'll be a different ball game now.
Chris West was mucking in at service, trying to replace his broken gear lever, no doubt wondering how he was going to make up 20 places after a disastrous morning.
Gary, a bit of a problem through the first stage. Is a bit of a road sweeper for you?
Yeah, we broke a gear lever on quite a fast corner, and you had no gears, and we just lost all traction, just spun right round into the bank and lost over a minute, got stuck there, and bent all the steering, and so I've done 2 stages with a broken gear lever again. So.
Okay, you're a minute 13 down, or minute 3 down on the leader, so repair the car, you can do something about it?
Oh yeah, we're going to keep trying. We've come here to have a good go, and that's what we intend to do, and we'll just keep going and just see how our tyres on the car and Westy feels, and just try and climb back up the ladder. It's not over yet.
No, the rally was far from over, and neither was the bad weather as the crews lined up for the second crack at the Longwood stage.
2, 1, go. 100, 7 right. 180.
Even on the second run through, with nearly 60 cars having passed over the roads, look how much thick gravel still lies out of the wheel tracks. To win the stage, smooth, straight lines were what was needed. And that's what Westy did, winning the stage in 16.59, just 1 second faster than Richard Mason. Not only that, he moved from 23rd to 6th overall. Not that Richard Mason knew that.
8 right.
He was first car through again, but at least this time there was some traction on the road.
Absolute crest, 120. 4 right plus.
At least until here, where stage 3 ran a further 6 kilometres than the first time through. His time, 17 minutes, put him 4th overall. And Andrew Hawkswood did the other competitors a real favour. In fact, he swept this corner better than a Hoover. And he lost only 3 seconds to Westy, a 17.02. Sam Murray wouldn't have the advantage of the best road conditions this time, and it shows. A 17.25, and he's now tied for first with Hawkswood. Glenn Smith was very conservative on the first 2 stages. Now he finally puts on his race face. 4th fastest here, moving up from 16th to 8th overall. But not much grip here, sideways for Austin Jones. And a slow time of a 17.54 drops him from 3rd back to 5th. Lewis Scott, another who had started slowly, but now crawling his way back up the leaderboard. While Mike Turfus was lucky to stay just 3 seconds in front of Smith in 7th place, despite stalling here. And of all the corners to stall, there's a few spectators there to see it too. Just what every rally driver loves. Stage 4 conditions were no better the second time through, but at least a line had formed on the road, and Richard Mason made the most of it. The fastest time with a 10:53. Chris West looks fantastic in the snow. His time a 10:57, second fastest, but just check out the lock-to-lock action coming up inside behind the wheel.
Plus long, 30. To 3 right. Into. 4 left minus, tightens 50. 3 left long. Fast. 30. To 4 left over crest.
Glenn Smith was fast again, just 1 second behind West on the stage, but now 9 seconds behind him and 6th overall. Hawkswood wasn't fastest, but his early pace meant that he still had the lead. Mark Tapper lost all that time on stage 3 with a puncture, fighting back here to climb up to 17th position. Sam Murray had the lead, then he shared it with Hawkswood, but here he would drop to 2nd, 13 seconds behind the Mitsies. Likewise, Brett Martin dropped from 3rd to 4th. So after 4 stages, Hawkswood with a 13-second lead. And it's Mason and West in the production class. Subaru's making the moves up the leaderboard. Lewis Scott and Neil Allport now tied for 8th. The Kiwi 2 class was once again a close battle. Kane Barry taking the early lead on stage 1. But over the next 3 stages, it was that unusual Honda Jazz of Dave Strong who fought back. He was 3rd in class behind the Suzuki of Jason West on stage 1, but into the lead on stages 2, 3 and 4. Remember, these are 2-wheel drive cars, and while they are light and nimble, they just don't have the all-wheel drive advantage in these conditions. So as you can see on board, Strong's car is quite a battle.
Plus 100, we need chains. 100.
Jason West was 3rd in class and 28th overall by stage 4. And teenager Sarah Randall in her 1600cc Toyota, 4th in the class. But going no further, Austin Jones off on stage 4.
Got out just off the gravel line here, and it got up on the crown of the road. As soon as it got on the crown of the road, we were simply passengers from like 80, 100 metres back.
Some mechanical worries for Hawkswood at service.
It completely took me by surprise. We had a couple of shockers, you know, had a broken water pump pulley and it was playing on my mind. I was constantly watching the temperature gauge, so yeah, it's surprising. Yeah.
Okay, you've got a 13-second lead over Sam Murray. You're about 25 seconds ahead of Chris West, who's leading the championship. So a bit comfortable at this stage?
Yeah, it's a funny old day, though. Like, anything could happen. So, you know, I'm not going to count my chickens. We're just going to go and do what we can do and stay on the road.
But no worries for Mason except which tyres to bolt on.
Richard, looks like it's been a bit of a hard morning for you.
Yeah, it's been quite difficult. There's been a lot of snow on the stages this morning, and we didn't have a snow tyre on or anything. You can't decide that the night before. Probably the biggest problem with that really is that we've been playing snowplough, you know, so it's just all wheel spin and no go. We'll just see what happens, you know, like up in Roellen, anything can happen. We're looking to the gods to see if there's snow out there. You can't see it, so we've got to decide what tyres to run. We've actually just taken a bit of a gamble and gone back to a non-mud or snow tyre, which could go either way. We'll see.
Sam dropped down to second, but still in touch with the leaders.
Yeah, you know, second's better than what we wanted anyway, so we're just happy to sit there. We're just sort of going a nice comfy pace and see what happens, really. There's been a lot of attrition already. The roads are really slippery and it's all pretty unpleasant for a lot of people, so just sit there and see what happens, you know.
It's a problem for everybody. Anyone that says that it isn't a problem isn't telling you the truth. Yeah, you're a lot of armfuls of lock and you've got to keep in the wheel tracks, otherwise you're gone.
Okay, you've got about a 20-second lead over Kane going into some of the faster stages now. Would that suit you?
Yeah, I think fast stages always suit me. I've changed the tyres to suit, hopefully experience. I've got the right ones and feeling fairly comfortable at the moment.
So another new stage and more road sweeping duties for Richard Mason. But would his new tyres be the right choice for the 20 rugged Ks of Roellen?
Long 4 right plus, here.
Well, yes, as it turns out, he's the fastest through the open forestry stage with a time of a 13:54.
4 left, cut. 15.
From forest to public road, McInerney Road is an old favourite on the Southland Rally, especially for the fans.
6 left minus, 20. 5 right, 40.
And what a difference for Mason. Smooth, swept roads, very enjoyable even in the rain. And another stage win for Mason, who moves to second position in the rally. Glenn Smith was also on a charge through these two stages and would head to service in fourth equal position. Andrew Hawkeswood had a 13-second lead going into these stages and a 35-second buffer over third place Mason. But with Mason charging, the question was, could he now hold that lead? Well, he lost 13 seconds to Mason over the two stages, but still came out with a 22-second advantage. Sam Murray was the loser then, dropping back to third behind Mason, but still 44 seconds ahead of West.
Long 6 right plus. Into 6 left plus 30. Lovely. 6 left plus, double caution, 30 to 3 right.
As you heard, Westy's got big brake problems, so no surprise that he was falling back into the clutches of Glenn Smith. You can see here he was visibly slower and ends up tied for fourth.
30 to 4 left opens. 60 to 6 left opens long.
Lewis Scott also had a sniff of a place, now up into seventh and closing in on the less experienced Brett Martin. Allport, though, was just 6 seconds behind Scott, so pressure right through to the top 10. Malcolm Stewart dropped to 29th on stage 4 with the smashed wheel, fighting here with the 9th best time. Also fighting back, Mark Tapper, third fastest on both stages, now up to 11th overall. But not having a good day, the Hawke's Bay driver, Evan O'Leary. A second team total car got sucked into the drain, then tipped over by a small driveway, and he would go no further. From going nowhere to going strong, Dave Strong now had the bit between his teeth after the frustrating drive of the snow. The little Honda Jazz was in the front of the Kiwi 2 class by over a minute and starting to do some giant killing through the rest of the field. Kane Barry just couldn't match the speed of the Honda. The older Nissan running down on power in second place in Kiwi 2. Likewise, Jason West Suzuki just doesn't have enough power, especially on the long straights. So with 4 stages left to run, the leaderboard looking more normal now. Hawkswood out in front, but check out those battles for 4th place and for 7th. Stages 7 and 8 were a second run of Rowellen and McInerney Road. This time Chris West had his brakes back. But that was a big bang of a rock on the side of the road.
4 right. 100. Along to go. 5 right plus. 5 left. And 5 left plus very high. 4 right.
Bang, there it goes. Now look how Westy is fighting with the car to strain a straight line. Despite that, he wins the stage.
4 left minus and junction. Over finish. 50 to 4 right plus.
I would have done there, mate. Stuck the power steering or something. Bent the arm or...
Richard Mason again closed in on Hawkswood's lead, now down to 15 seconds. Sam Murray was only 6th fastest in the Radio Sports Subaru. Still 3rd overall, but now with West 30 seconds behind and closing in. He lost more ground on stage 8 and unfortunately dropped to 4th overall. Hawkswood seemed to be just sort of managing his lead, taking no risks but keeping a small buffer back to Mason. And Mark Tapper took 8th overall here in his crawl back up the leaderboard. Last year, Glenn Smith's rally ended right here with a broken differential, but he was still going quite spectacularly in 5th this time. Now, Dave Strong has always said these little cars could be quite fast in the right conditions. Well, how about a sensational 9th fastest through Rowellen on the second pass? That's 9th overall. And check out the feed action as he nurses the power to the 2 driving wheels. Come on, baby. Talk to me.
5 right plus. And an 8 left into 4 right plus.
So service for the last time at Tuatapere, and while the Winger Subaru crew go to work on the car, Westy's got time to reflect on a slow start.
You happy with the position you're in now, and what's the plan for the last 2 stages?
If we can make a wee bit more time up, then all in good. But at the end of the day, I think we've run out of time, so to speak, and stages, and we obviously need to finish. It's a long way in the championship yet, and we can get some points to take to Rotorua, then all in good.
So you're 20 in front, 2 stages to go, looking good?
Yeah, but, we're out of tyres. The 16 tyre rule's not working for us, and, we've got our options in our tyres aren't that flash, so I'm a little bit concerned going into the last 2 stages.
Having talked about that, the last 2 stages, condition-wise, would it wear tyres?
It hasn't really, but we did the last 2 on second-hand tyres, You're putting a lot on the line, You're putting your life on the line almost on second-hand tyres to save $1,000, it's not worth it.
Richard, you closed up the game to 15 seconds over Andrew. I think he's pulled another 5 on you. 2 stages to go. Can you do anything about it?
It would be difficult to say, I think Andrew's got the bit between his teeth now, so he won't be wanting to give up first place for nobody. I think at the moment we need to keep an eye on Westy, who seems to be coming up fast from behind.
And drama 2 for Neil Allport, who lost 50 seconds in the same drain that caused Evan O'Leary's big roll on stage 8.
On the end of that stage, I was just slightly wide on a left-hander, pulled the rear end down into a drain, but then there was like a bit of a crossing, so it hit the crossing head on and took the oil cooler and the oil intercooler out of it. So.
Guys will get to have enough time to change it?
Oh, yeah, no, it's fine, and it's still going all right. It hasn't damaged anything else, the suspension or anything, but it's just a frustrating day,
Southland was a reverse run of the snowy Woodlaw stage. Out in front, Andrew Hawkswood still seemed to be taking a conservative approach in his powerful Group A Lancer. It was just a case of holding on for the win, but a spin or a puncture is all it takes to lose everything on one stage. While Hawkswood crackled through the countryside, Mason had tweaked his suspension in the service, sniffing the rear of the car to set up for a chase.
Well, the car's right, 4 left plus.
But now he's happy, he sets off with a determined attitude.
4 left.
And the road is now perfect, the conditions set for a big showdown at the top of the field.
6 left, 13. 6 right, over crest, 24 right.
Mason's time in the NZ Subaru at 10:39, third fastest on the stage.
Long 5 left, opens, 50. 6 right.
Now, Chris West seemed happy with third place on the service. But on the stage, he quickly realises that these are the conditions perfectly suited for his Subaru, so he's on the charge in the winger car.
30 to 7 left long, over crest, into 5 left, 250.
Just look on board here as he commits to every corner, totally believing in the pace notes being delivered by Gary Cowan. The result? Another stage win.
Right, plus on crest, 150.
14 seconds faster than Hawkswood, so the gap between first and third was now just 33 seconds with one stage to go. And Mark Tapper got involved in the party as well. Fourth fastest on the stage. He overtakes Allport to move up to 7th overall. Not a bad comeback for the kid. And after getting the best conditions in the morning, Sam Murray cops the rain here. He's still 4th overall, but only has a 23-second buffer back to Glenn Smith.
6. To 60, to 6 right, tightens 4 minus.
Dean Sumner hasn't exactly been on fire in this rally. It's hard to drive fast when you don't have enough experience in these conditions, when your only experience on the Southland Rally was a crash on this stage last year. But he finally moves the ITM Lancer into the top 10 here. More importantly, he's the second junior championship driver behind Mark Tapper.
And very long, 8 left, caution, 30, crest.
Only you Swedes, yes, the Southland spectators have settled in to watch the battle on the very last stage. Kane Barry brings his Nissan Pulsar home second in the Kiwi 2 class ahead of Jason West.
Great crest, 5 left.
But the class victory, and probably the first victory to a Honda Jazz anywhere in the world, goes to Dave Strong.
4 left and 60 to right junction, repeat.
Strong would finish 16th overall. What a good effort. Bringing the Lancer home in 15th, Aucklander Sean Gray. Malcolm Stewart came back from losing time with a broken wheel to finish 14th. And a stage win in 13th place. Not bad for Deborah Kibble after her stage 1 crash. Grant Barber, 12th in the Cat Evo 8. Rally Drive New Zealand instructor Dylan Turner finished 11th, just 2 seconds behind Hugh Owen. It's a long way from Sulphur City to Southland, but Dean Sumner, the Rotorua man, would finish 9th overall. And he was second in the juniors to take the lead in the series and leave Invercargill in pretty good shape.
Down here?
Yeah, it is, but the length in the stage. We've got nothing else after the 350.
A little battered and bruised, but Allport finally had championship points, 8th overall. Lewis Scott had to settle for 7th. His slow start costing him a top 5 position. And considering that at one stage he was way back in 24th, 6th place looks pretty good for Mark Tapper. In the end, Glenn Smith just couldn't make up the 30 seconds to Murray to finish 5th. And the rookie had a great run. Sam Murray coming home 4th in the Radio Sports Subaru. So what about the top 3? Well, Richard Mason really had the bit between his teeth. Running first on the road, it was up to him to lay down the challenge and hope that Westy or Hawkswood would have something to beat or have a problem.
A bit late, buddy. All right.
21 seconds was achievable over 26 kilometres.
180.
So let's go on board with Richard Mason and Hamish Fenimore to see how they stop the clock.
8 left, 200.
16:56 the stage time, so he'd laid down the gauntlet.
Good stuff, buddy.
But Hawkswood wasn't letting it go. 16:54, he gets the stage win and the rally win for Captain Wide and Slide.
Okay, Andrew, looks like we won the rally.
Yeah, thanks very much. Yeah, no, it's awesome. You know, like I think that's one of the hardest stages I've ever done. You know, I didn't want to overcook it, but you know, you can't relax. So yeah, it was just awesome.
Going into the last stage, 21-second lead, pressure on?
Oh, definitely. You know, like I knew that we didn't have the right tyres, but you know, we had to do what we could with what we had. So no, it's awesome.
All right, congratulations, Andrew.
Thanks very much. Thank you.
Okay, so what about Westy? Could he grab second place from Mason?
Full left minus and full right minus. And full left 50.
Whoa, staying on the road would certainly help. 33 seconds behind Mason. Could he do the impossible and grab second place on the last stage? After all his brake problems, the 10-second penalty, Westy was back in the groove in the left-hand drive Subaru,
180.
going for a big southern charge.
5 left 30 and 7 right 180. 7 left opens over finish.
On board bumper cam as we come down to the finish.
7 left opens over finish. 350.
Unbelievable, he stops the clock with a 16:33, 10 seconds short of second place. Ironically, that was the penalty he got for being late to the start of stage 1. So victory goes to Auckland's Andrew Hawkswood. He takes the win just by the skin of his teeth from Richard Mason second and Westy third. Unfortunate not to see Sam Murray on the podium, but with that result, won't be long before he's right up there. Great comeback drives too by Mark Tapper, Malcolm Stewart and Deborah Kibble. And great to see some new names too on the scoreboard like Dylan Turner, Grant Barber and Sean Gray.
Congratulations, it's been a great drive, well done.
Certainly was, and worthy winners Andrew Hawkswood and Jeff Hill get to splash the champagne. A big Sunday drive at the Ascot Park finish. So overall, after 2 rounds of the championship, Andrew Hawkswood's in front on 64 points, followed by Westy and Mason. Only 8 points separate the top 3. Westy and Mason are tied for the lead in the production class, followed by Dean Sumner. Consistency works too at the top of the Kiwi 2, led by Barry. Dave Strong, all the work to do as he fights his way back as they now head to the Rally of Rotorua.